Thanks everyone for joining me. I'm just wanted an opportunity to gather everybody together to talk about transition. I know it's a topic that's really important to all of you, and quite rightly, because it's a big step for your children, although we hope to make it as smooth and seamless as possible. And I'm just going to talk you through some of the things that we already have in place, some of the specific things we do for transition, and some of the new things for this year, because we're always trying to add new things in. And I think as I've had a child go through West End now, and I've been to more events, given my new role for September, that's given me a bit of an insight, and I've added in a few bits which I hope you'll be really pleased about. And then at the end there'll be an opportunity for questions. So I'm afraid it's a bit of me talking at you. I've got some nice colours on the slides though to keep you engaged. So already things that are already in place, and these started from when your child started at Westcott. So these are the things that you probably don't realise, but it has been preparing your child from transition since they started at our school. So all the joint fundraising events on the West End site, summer fair, Christmas fair, they've given your children opportunity to visit the site. Our swimming for year 1 and 2, so going to the site within that summer term to visit the pool, which is a key part of the West End curriculum in the summer term. They've had that opportunity, and I have to say they love it. We use this West End Field for our sports day, so again another opportunity to visit the site, and we do that every year. When your child gets to year 2, they're invited to watch the year 4 Christmas production, which we did at Christmas. We also, I'll talk later on, but we see the year 6 production as well. We've had reading ambassadors from West End from across their year group, so from year 3 up to year 6, visit Westcott throughout the year, and they come and read with the children. So the children are getting used to the different age groups and the older children, and you know, it might be faces that look familiar to them when they transition over. And then always joint working with both senior leadership teams, which I'm sure you'll understand will be even easier from September for me. Some things that are already in place in terms of the curriculum, so all the things that will feel very familiar. So the way we teach maths, our mastery approach and White Rose Maths, that's the same across both schools. We use the same music and art curriculums. In terms of other curriculum areas, we meet annually as subject leaders just to make sure curriculums match up, even if it's a different scheme. We're not repeating things, and we're making sure they complement each other, and skills are being progressed from early years Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 2. Someone's just said the slides aren't sharing. Is there anybody else that's got a problem with the slides? I think it might be just... Yeah, I think it might just be that one. So I will be sharing them afterwards. So I appreciate it's not very fun for you, but yeah, lots of people saying they can. So I don't know whether it might be worth coming out and in, or it might be the device you're looking at, but I will be sharing them at the end, and I'll make sure they're on the website as well, so you can see them. The other thing that we have is a growth mindset approach to learning. So all of our behaviours to learning are very similar. So even within those different schemes, we still got that growth mindset. So that'll feel very familiar with the children. And then something I have put on here is about phonics. So children still working within the phonics scheme. Currently, there's a different scheme at West End that they use from year 3, but from September that will align with Little Wandle, and that's something that I want to bring in to support that and to help the children. So that's why I put a little star there, because it is something new, but I just thought it was worth mentioning in the curriculum area. So things that we already do that are specifically in place for year 2 to really sort of ramp up that transition activity. And you'll see that these are the things that I've put the dates, most of the dates on the newsletter. So we always have handover meetings between class teachers. I meet with Mrs. Robinson Asenko. the safeguarding leads meet and SLT meet to discuss the children, so they know everything they need to know, all the important information, not just academic but emotionally, socially as well. Like I said earlier, the year 2, we're going to see the year 6 summer production, their dress rehearsal at the end of June. So that again is another opportunity to go to the school hall visit. And really nice to see what the year 6 produce and what, you know, they can aspire to in the future. We have our official transition day on the 25th of June, where the children go for pretty much the whole day, including lunchtime. They'll be in their new classes with their new teacher. And at the end of that is the meeting with yourselves, which I will attend this year, but Mrs. Sykes will be leading it. We also have a visit on the 16th of June where the year 2s will stay in their current classes, but they'll go with their teacher to the year 3 classrooms, and their current teacher will teach a lesson. So again, another opportunity, staying within their familiar adults, familiar classmates, to just go and experience a lesson over there. And obviously the teachers will be around to say hello and maybe do a story at the end of that. But again, another opportunity. We've also got some visits to the library, which is another important space. And the reading ambassadors talk about how the library works and how reading works. Then there's, I've mentioned the year 3 presentation for yourselves at the end of that transition day. Then there's my virtual meeting, which I'm doing now, which everybody really appreciated last year. So I hope you feel it's useful as well to know what's happening. We send up writing books to the year 3 so they can see what work your child was doing, the expectations, because sometimes when they start in year 3, it can fluctuate. So it's good to have a look back and say, look, this is what you were achieving, this is what you were doing. Let's see if we can get back to that. And then the year 2s will write a letter to their new teacher to show their best handwriting, so they know what the sort of level of your child is in their writing. So they're all the things that are already in place that we did last year, we will continue to do this year. Specifically for our SEND pupils, we have transition booklets for those pupils that will have pictures of staff in, maybe areas if needed, different places around the school. We do some additional visits for our Little Acorns pupils and our other SEND pupils across the school, so they can go and visit when it's a bit quieter, and we can tailor those depending on your child. So if there's anything specifically you think they need, or they've said they're worried about at home, just let me know and we can tailor those visits to, you know, sometimes it's the toilets, so we can specifically show them, talk to them about it, maybe take a picture if needed, but we can make it work for your child. The Acorns teachers come and visit the Little Acorns, and that's the same for the year 3 teachers, they'll come here as well. There's the SENCO handover meeting, which I've already mentioned, and all of our paperwork just gets transitioned over. But I mean, even more benefit this year because I'll be there as well, so I can, you know, I'll know the children so well. I think this is probably going to be the best transition ever for your children. And then social stories if needed, but again, some they help and some they don't, but we'll just tailor it for your child. So again, they're all the things already in place. So this is the new for 2025. So having visited a West End Wonder assembly for my own son, I thought children do get a bit nervous about assemblies, particularly in a new school. So we're going over to a West End Wonder assembly on the 11th of July. So the children will see that is structured, and they'll see that actually this birthday song's the same, the way they call out the West End Wonder children, the staff, and when they're explaining why they've achieved that award, it's very similar to what we do. But I just want them to know that it's similar, to reassure them. The year 6s won't be there because they'll be on the residential, so a bit more space for us. And I think that will just really alleviate some of those concerns about assemblies and what that will look like. We're also, because the outdoor learning curriculum is a big feature of West End and something they should be really proud of because it's fantastic. So each class will have an outdoor learning session with Mrs. Donaldson. So that's on the 3rd and 4th of July. I'll give you more information about that nearer the time. And I just think because that's a key part of their curriculum, again, it's another way that they get to meet different staff, or they'll meet Mrs. Donaldson who leads the sessions. They'll hopefully get to go into the outdoor classroom. And I think that'll be a real good benefit to them. And then we do some visits. I'd like to invite some of our more anxious children. So again, this is where I'll need your help to let me know if you feel your child will benefit. It's not the list can be as long as it needs to be. And our SEND children, I'm going to invite them in on one of our inset days, probably the Friday at some point during that day, a pop in for half an hour, because the 6 weeks is such a long time. And I know the children start to get a bit nervous before they come back. So it'll be an opportunity. It'll be quiet. They can come in, see their classroom again, meet their teacher, see where their peg is, say hello to us. They'll have a smiley welcome. And we did it for Westcott last year and it worked really well. So I really want to introduce that to West End as well, because I think that will really help. So it's quite a big package. They're all the things we're doing to support your child with the transition. But I also like to talk about the things that may feel different to you and your child, because I think it's really important to just recognise that it's okay that these things will feel different. It is a different environment. It's a different building. It's got bigger grounds. The classrooms are different. So I think that is one difference you'll feel. But nice that you can drop off and pick up your child at their classroom door, which obviously we can't do at Westcott. So that's a nice addition. The staff will be different. So it'll be different staff, although great that you've got me now. So that's not quite as different. And I'll be around and I'll make sure I'll be there on their first few days, making sure I'm visible. I need to make sure that I'm here for my new FS as well, but I'll make sure I'm there for the year 3s as well. Don't worry. The communication from school will feel a bit different. We're starting to prepare the children. They're getting a bit older. We want them to start taking a little bit more responsibility of their messaging, to build them up to when they eventually go to secondary. So that communication will feel slightly different, although there'll probably be things that I probably will adapt once I get in there. But I'm not, I need to get in there first. Uniform is different. So we go from green to navy and blue. So that will feel different. And these might seem like these are really obvious and subtle things. And why is this Holden going on about it? But for children, these changes can be quite big. But I think it really marks that change from infant to juniors for them. And just wanted to really just recognise that it is a change. Drop off and pick up is slightly different. So they have a bit more of a steady start to the morning. So you can drop off at between 8:30 and 8:45. So you have a bit more time than that. Still, if you've got siblings at Westcott, still gives you time to come here. And then pick up is at 3:15. So you can get your Westcott children if you have ever have another child, and then go to West End. Children need to be a bit more independent. So they don't go into school in their PE kit. They change for PE. So it's make sure everything's named. That would be my advice. They do have lost property bins in every year group, but make sure everything's named. And maybe I'm sure your children are ready for it. In fact, I know they are, because they're doing it for swimming. But changing for PE and just managing their own uniform and kit and making sure it goes in their bag and not someone else's. That's probably key. But they'll have their own pencil cases and things like that to manage as well. So just a little bit more independence. They have a house point system, which is different from Westcott. I know the children love that, and they have house competitions all throughout the year. So that's really lovely for the children. In each West End Wonder Assembly, they announce who's the house winner that week with the points and all sorts of other things. So that's a really nice addition for the children. So you start to feel that teamwork and a little bit of healthy competitiveness as well. The reading system is different. So although some children will continue with Little Wonder, as I mentioned with the phonics, they'll move on to the accelerated reader programme. And I've been really impressed with it. My son's done really well with it. So, but again, that will just feel a little bit different. And then the homework is a little bit different. So reading is the key focus still, like it is at Westcott. And then there's some spelling online. It's called Spelling Frame, to help the children really focus on their spellings now that they've got to Key Stage 2. And then some Times Tables Rock Stars, which again, it's a fun online program. You don't have to do it. You can do other things as well with Times Tables. You don't have to do the online stuff, but it's really focusing on those times tables, which are key mathematical skills. So they're the things that may feel different. So I know you probably know them, but just to highlight them. There are some helpful videos on that. They're a bit out of date now, actually, and I know Mrs. Sykes wanted to change them last year, but I still think they're worth a watch, because you can still see the school grounds, and there might just be something nice to share with your child, just bearing in mind that maybe watch it first to check, that it's not too out of date, or maybe just the parts that you want them to see. But they might be useful as well. And then that's definitely enough of me talking. And then I'm going to open up to questions and stop sharing my screen. I think someone's put one in the chat. You will find out your child's class on that transition visit on the 25th. You won't find out at the meeting. I don't know whether it's emailed out or it's a letter, actually. I'd need to check that. But I know you'll find out on that day. And I know I'm just going to say it, I know there's been a little bit of concern about who the year 3 teachers will be. So although I can't tell you exactly who your child's having, it will be different from last year. So I hope that alleviates anybody's worries or concerns that they may have had, because I know there was a lot of chatter going around. But there will be a change. So it won't be completely the same teachers as last year. Anybody else got any questions? No, I must have answered everything. So if you know your child is particularly worried or anxious and you'd like them to have that extra visit in September, just either drop me or Mrs. Chugg an email to let me know, and I'll start compiling a list. If you think they'd benefit from any extra visits when it's quieter, or any worries, please just say, because I'd rather tackle your worries than you sit there worrying at home. That's what I don't want. So even if there's no such thing as a silly question, I'd rather you just ask, and then we can work it out together. So yeah, so that, I hope that's answered that. So yeah, just let me know and I'll start putting a list together. And then when I know the actual details, I haven't told the staff yet, then I'll make sure that I send out an email to all the people that have requested it, as well as ones that I know of anyway, that are on our send register. Yeah. Do you want to ask them now, Becky, or do you want to wait till everyone's left the meeting? You can ask them now. You can ask them now if you'd like. Or someone else would like to hear them, so we better do it. Are you brave enough to unmute yourself?
Hello, sorry, I was typing, but I thought it's right. Just easier. So the current foundation, current year 1, have still got access to that nice little playground bit that the foundations have. Will our year 1s lose that?
Hold on. Say that again.
So the current year 1s, because they're grouped with the foundation.
Oh, right, okay. No, they won't, because they'll be just in year 2, so they'll just have access to the main playground.
Yeah, so our year 1, so the current foundation,
yes,
going up, will they lose what the current year 1s have?
No, it will be different, because they will it will be going back to just year one.
Yeah.
So they'll have obviously the playground is very different now with all the new equipment and everything.
True. Okay. And my other question,
Yeah.
They're grouping into one class, which is great, but that's a big class. Will they have extra TAs or how?
It won't be any bigger than 30, which is a standard class size.
Okay.
So it will just be our normal teacher TA, because that is, I know you've had luxury, but that is a normal class size. And I don't have the budget to have any more support staff than we have.
No, that's fair
I'm
enough.
lucky I've maintained them full time, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so there'll be no, it's statutory that you don't have over 30 children unless you have a child join who has an EHCP or is a looked after child. But otherwise it has to be 30, so that will always be the maximum.
So then if you get new joiners,
we won't get any new joiners, because sorry, this isn't relevant for all of year 2, but you're welcome to leave if you want to, or you can carry on if you're interested. Once after foundation year, I can cap that as a 1 class.
I see.
So they'll go through as a 1 class at Westcott. What that'll look like at West End, I don't know yet, but for Westcott, there'll be 1 class as year 1 and 1 class as year 2, and they'll be full, so there won't be any more. Once we hit 30, there won't be any more joiners.
Perfect. That's it. That's all I wanted to know. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So someone's asked about the volume of homework for year 3 is quite high and very different from what is expected in year 2. Will I be reviewing the homework? To be honest, I do the homework with my son who's in year 4, and it's not, honestly, it's not that much. I promise you, it's not. And we have to remember that we're building the children up to go to secondary when they get an we don't want them to then go to secondary and have a real shock. There's just some additional online practice, but it's really good fun. The spelling frame and timetable Rockstar is really good fun. The children enjoy it. So it's not a huge step up for homework, and that is it. So the reading, there's a little bit of spelling and a little bit of times tables, that's it. And they're really short activities. So I don't think it is a big step up. And I think we need to start thinking about preparing them for secondary as well. This is a good question. Will the money from ARBA account transfer to junior school? I'd need to check that one with Mrs. Chugg, who's the expert with ARBA. So I'll check that one, and I'll get her to send a message out to all of you. Oh yeah, there we go. We've got another parent saying, my Levi always wants to jump on the laptop when Harrison is doing his. So when they're doing the spelling frame, honestly, it's quite good fun. It is really good fun. And I wouldn't say that if it wasn't. But I'll be hopefully getting lots of opportunities for parents to give feedback once I'm at West End. So if it's not working, then it can be something we look at. But I think you'll see that actually it's not that bad. Right, I think that's all of the questions. So Tom, I'll make sure that I send a message out about the ARBA account. Thank you for joining me, everyone. But like I said, if you've got any other questions, you can always email. Just going to stop recording.